I'm going to talk to Bettina Schroeder about the Noisy Women. Would we say collective? Would we say project? Would we say group? How would we describe the Noisy Women? And tell us a bit about them, Bettina.
Hello, Ivor.
Hello.
The Noisy Women are a collective, a women's collective, but we also have some men on board because we are basically very inclusive.
Right.
So we don't exclude anybody.
Do they have to be noisy, though?
They do have to be able to make some noise.
Okay.
It can be just a whispering, but it can also be really noisy and really loud.
Yeah.
But we like to be heard, seen as well, and possibly even felt as a vibration in the room.
Okay.
Right. But it is basically a virtuoso with lots of different people with different backgrounds, different musical abilities, and that's where the inclusivity comes in, because we have people who are highly qualified musicians next to amateurs, people who are just starting up, and that all gets mixed together and creates a creative atmosphere. And that means if you are just in the audience, sometimes you might be invited to join, but of course you don't have to.
Okay.
But that means you get a real spontaneous mixture of sound and abilities.
Yeah. So how did it come about?
It started as a duo with Marion Trebi and Faradena Afifi in 2020. They got together during lockdown and just for the fun of it, playing together. Marion Trebi is playing the piano. She is also a writer, and Marion Faradena is a wonderful vocalist and multi-instrumentalist. And she has got a fantastic sort of personality on stage, and her energy is just amazing. And those two set the whole thing off and called it the Noisy Women.
So was it based in Cambridge at the beginning?
I think it must have been in Cambridge, because they're both in Cambridge.
Yeah.
And this is still the case that half of the Noisy Women are in Cambridge and some are in London. We are now international as well, so we have people from different parts of the UK, but also USA, Japan, Holland, and so it's expanding now. We are inviting more people from other countries and continents. And then once they were going with the duo for a while, they were joined by the legendary Maggie Nichols, who is a fantastic vocalist. She plays the piano, dances, movement basically. And she has a very strong philosophy of being creative and inclusive. Yeah. Because in the improv world, in the musical improv world, which is basically the sort of music the Noisy Women do, it was quite difficult for women to sort of get a foothold. Yeah. And I think that is a very strong motivation, that women find a safe place, but also people with different abilities or disabilities and different culture, they are all included. And that means if there is a small toddler in the audience and he or she moves suddenly towards the drum kit,
they're in the band.
They are in the band. Yeah, they can join. That doesn't happen often, so.
Okay.
But the inclusivity and creativity and that feeling of fun and freedom in your musical life.
So it's I suppose it's a similar thing to Maggie's Gathering, which now takes place at the Horse Hospital now and again. Yeah, but it's been going for years.
That is a really good example. That is where Maggie absolutely excels. Yeah, and it is amazing because people sometimes bring their own instrument and join in. Sometimes they are just by chance there, and then find themselves joining in because it's just so much fun. Mm-hmm. And And so that was obviously a very great thing to have Maggie Nichols. And then later Gwendoline Cassenat joined.
Right.
She's a visual artist,
Yeah.
but she also does movements, and she does these fantastic paintings while the music is played. So she is making an interpretation of the sound she is hearing. And that is just a wonderful not embellishment, but it's absolutely part of what the Noisy Women do.
Uh-huh.
But we are also now called Noisy Women Present because of the enlargement, because of having men in as well. We thought we have to give it a name that represents that change.
I just think I might have been a Noisy Woman once. I think there was a gig in Cambridge that I went down for. Was that a Noisy Woman?
Yeah, that could have been.
I could have been a Noisy Woman.
Yeah, we did one in Cambridge, quite a big one, where there were a lot of what we call noisy women and friends.
Right.
and so you might as well been a part of that, because your own work is very much improvised music and following your feelings, doing what you feel at the moment, and also that responds to each other, when you are creative.
Yeah.
And so we have, we suddenly have the four now, the Noisy Women, Marion, Faradena, Maggie and Gwendoline. And I joined them in 2022 or 23. And I play the electric ukulele with special effects and objects, and I do spoken word as well, or poetry.
Right.
And so that just shows you already how many different creative forms there are. We have the visual with Gwendoline and her wonderful paintings. Then we have spoken word and poetry. Then we have all the different instruments, vocal and movement. And that creates, on stage, it creates a very special atmosphere, and it's also visually really interesting.
Okay. So you mentioned on stage. Where can people see the Noisy Women on stage in the near future?
Well, we have a tour coming up, but before I mention the tour, what made this tour possible financially was the fellowship we got from the Serpentine Gallery.
Okay.
We got £10,000 fellowship in order to further our organization.
Right.
And this has been really helpful, because it now means we can finance the tour at least a little bit. It doesn't cover all the costs. So we now starting in Liverpool at Metal, which is apparently a fantastic place in one of the oldest railway stations in Liverpool. It's called Metal Platform 1 on the 13th of March, which is coming up quite soon.
So did you say that was in Edge Hill Station?
Yeah, that's exactly the place. And that starts at 9 o'clock. There is another band on before.
Right.
And after that, in June, we are going further north, up to Glasgow on the 27th of June.
Yeah.
In the wonderful Citizens Theatre.
Fantastic.
In the studio, which is a smaller space.
Right. Wow.
And we are
many a happy night was spent at the Citizens.
You know it. Yeah.
I know it well, yeah.
I only have seen it online, and it looks, of course, fantastic.
Well, the thing about the Citizens was it was right in the heart of the Gorbals.
Yeah.
And the Gorbals was pretty much demolished and then rebuilt, and the Citizens remained.
Yeah.
And when I used to go there in the 70s, every seat was 50 pence. Wow. So it was accessible to all the local community. And there were some really daring things put on there. It was really quite exciting for a young lad. Yeah. Anyway, you carry on with the tour, Citizens Theatre in Glasgow.
Yeah, and that's 27th of June. And then the following night, the 28th of June, we are moving to Edinburgh.
Okay.
And we are playing there as part of a series of events at the food market.
All right. So that'll be Ali Robertson that's putting the gig on, probably. because he organises gigs
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
fruit market.
So
Great.
I'm not quite sure who exactly it was. I haven't made a note of that.
Yeah.
But that is, so that whole tour is just so exciting. And we are joined by Charlotte Keefe, the fantastic trumpet player.
Yeah.
And there are other members of our group, which might be worth mentioning. I'm really just picking out a few names.
Yeah.
Because they have been so pivotal in organizing the show as well, and the tour. The tour was the Glasgow and Edinburgh tour was organized by Maureen Woloshin, who has been incredibly helpful, and the one in Liverpool by Jo Morrison, who is also a Noisy Woman.
Yes.
And she has been with the Noisy Women for a long time.
Yeah.
She does wonderful vocals, but the most fantastic costumes.
Uh-huh.
So she performs in her outfits, and they are out of this world. So
Yeah.
she will be there, of course, as well. And Nikki Smith is another Cambridge Noisy
Okay.
woman. She does dance, sound, and also word, spoken word. And from the men, maybe I would like to mention Steve Beresford, who's of course very, very well known in the improv music scene, fantastic pianist. So we are really lucky he is going to come to Liverpool. And we have also from the USA, Constance Cooper is joining us. She is a composer.
Right.
And a musician, and wonderful. We met her for the first time last year,
Okay.
and she's lovely to work with.
Great.
So this is the big excitement of the year. We will also play possibly at some point at Café Otto, and we sometimes join Mopomoso, which has regular gigs at the Vortex.
Yeah.
And so the important thing I think about the Noisy Women is that multi creativity and that inclusion of people from different abilities and different backgrounds.
Okay. So we could listen and watch. Obviously not watch on the radio, but you could access the Noisy Women on YouTube. There's a presence there, isn't there?
Yeah, there. If you just go Noisy Women Present,
Yeah.
YouTube. Just go to YouTube, Noisy Women.